She thought her first real date would feel like a fairy tale. Candles, music, something unforgettable. But instead, she found herself staring at the flickering neon sign of a rundown diner, her heart full of doubt. What she didn't know was that this this man would change her life forever. The night was cold, and the city lights shimmered like restless stars. Inside a parked car, a young woman named Lily Parker sat quietly, watching the world blur past her window. She was just 23, shy and soft-spoken, carrying silent scars from a childhood that taught her what survival really meant. Tonight was supposed to be special, her first real date. But when she saw the place her date had chosen, her heart sank. A corner diner with peeling paint, the neon sign half dead. Hardly the magical evening she'd imagined. Lily wondered if she'd made a mistake saying yes, but then she remembered why she had agreed in the first place. His name was Daniel Brooks, a construction worker in his late 20s. Not polished, not rich, but the day her car had broken down, he was the one who knelt in the cold to fix it without asking for anything in return. His hands were rough, his clothes worn, but his kindness had shone brighter than anything she'd seen in a long time. That was enough for her to say yes when he asked her to dinner. Now, sitting in that little diner, Lily tried to hide her disappointment. But when Daniel walked in, nervous smile, faded shirt, eyes full of sincerity, she realized he hadn't brought her there to impress her. He had brought her there to be real. The diner smelled of frying oil and coffee. A jukebox played an old love song no one noticed. At first, they stumbled through small talk. She ordered a salad. He got pancakes. But slowly, walls began to fall. He spoke of losing his father young, of raising his little brother on his own. She told him about her mother working 2 jobs, about the promise she'd made never to judge people by money, and then it happened. An elderly couple shuffled in, holding each other up. When the waitress came, they admitted they could only afford to share one plate. Without hesitation, Daniel slipped away to the counter, pulled out his thin wallet, and quietly paid for their meal. He asked the waitress not to tell them who had done it. Lily watched in silence, her doubts melting into something warm. This wasn't a man with money to spare. This was a man who gave, even when he had little, and to Lily, that meant more than any candlelit restaurant ever could. That night, laughter replaced awkwardness. Secrets turned into trust. And before the night was over, Lily stood up, cheeks flushed, and hugged Daniel in the middle of the diner. It wasn't just a hug, it was the moment the lost souls realized they had finally found home in each other. The truck drivers paused. The waitress stood frozen. And yet, in that small forgotten diner, love took root. Word of that night spread quietly, carried by people who had been there. The story of a young man who had nothing but gave everything, and the young woman who saw his worth. Lily and Daniel's bond only grew. He saved to put his brother through school, while she dreamed of finishing her studies. And years later, when Daniel finally built his first house with his own hands, it wasn't for profit, it was the home where he and Lily would begin their life together. On moving day, they returned to that same old diner not because they had to, but because it was where everything began. The waitress smiled as she served them and whispered, "I knew you two would make it." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who still believes in true love, and subscribe to HQ Infinite Stories for more tales that remind us kindness and love are still alive in this world. And tell us in the comments, would you choose love in a cheap diner over luxury without sincerity? We read every single one, because sometimes the smallest places hold the biggest miracles.